So, hello guys. So today I will teach about topic on Excel for introduction, like for data analysis and overall Excel introduction. So you know that Excel in today's world, like in data field, Excel is quite important because they have provide various types of functions and formula which have used in the data functions. So firstly, we know about what types of function and formulas Excel has provided. So I am starting from the scratch basically. Like I think if your basics is clear, then it will be helpful for your in higher career. So first of all, in Excel, basically when you open the Excel app and or in phone or laptop, you will deal with this like quick access toolbar, which is upper portion. Like they have like file, home, insert, page layout. Like all of is considered in the quick access toolbar. Basically, it's a place where all the important tools are placed. When you start Excel, for the first time, it's are only three icons basically: save, undo, or redo. But you can add any feature of Excel to its quick Excel toolbar by the go for the options button in file. So second option is basically ribbon. Ribbon is basically like expanded menu. It depicts all features of the Excel in easy format and like easy to understand. Like since Excel has thousands of features they have available, and they are grouped into the several ribbon basically. And the most important ribbons are home, insert, page layout, data, and view. Third, third is like basically formula bar, where we have we calculate any types of formula will appear and they understand the relevance once you building the formula. Spreadsheet, spreadsheet grid, yeah. And in spreadsheet grid, basically you where all your number, data, chart, and drawing will go. And each Excel file can contain several types of sheet. But the spreadsheet grid so few rows and column of active spreadsheet. To see more row or column, you can see the scroll bar or the left or at bottom. And last of the this function like basically it's status bar. This tell us where what is going with the Excel at any time. You can tell if Excel is busy calculating for formula or like creating a pivot report. So that's all basically. First of all, quick Excel toolbar. Second is basically ribbon. Third is formula bar, where my cursor's point, please see formula bar. And fourth is spreadsheet, and fifth one is status bar. So that's basically all of the introduction of basically Excel when you enter. Third is basically like formula, because in if you have deal with the Excel and in intermediate types of level, you know about like what's formula used in the Excel. Because if you know about Excel formula, only like 5 to 10 formula you may have, you must deal with it. Like so formula is play consider is very important role, because by putting a formula in Excel, you will calculate a lots of scenario or lots of things in 2 to 3 seconds or just a couple of seconds. So formula basically like auto sums, basically financial types of logical functions, and all it's are in formulas basically section. Part of a formula basically Part of a formula basically like functions, references, constant, and operators basically. When we speak about the functions, so they are actually part of the formula. Basically functions like included in the Excel. Functions are engineer formula that carry out specific calculations. For example, pi functions run the value of pi, basically 3.1442. And references in refers to the individual cell of range of cells like A2, return the value in cells A2. And basically constant, which value don't change like in with the variables, like number or text value directly into the formula, such as 2 basically, like. And the last but not the least, like operator. The caret operator is the number to the power, and the asterisk operator multiplies, use, and plus operator, additional, subtraction, all are in the operator. formula example basically by single argument. So this will very important because by putting the formula, you must know about the syntax. When will be the what are the syntax to written the formula in the Excel formula sheet or Excel sheets. So first of all, it's start with the equal sign, and then equal sign. They know about what types of functions you have used, like function formula, addition, subtraction, all you have put in the section. So by this, number one and number two is also a part in the syntax. So it's the general understanding of the syntax of sum, basically. Number one, and because when you are addition the sum formula, so you have must two things in a hand to add something. So mathematical formulas is basically like sum, count a sum if, average, round, product, or basically Romans. So it's are the mathematical functions. Like next function is basically sum ifs. Basically sum ifs is like to is a list of matching up condition. Like sum if syntax is basically is equal to sum if in this range, like in this range which you have dealing with, and value that meets this criteria, and comma sum this range. So this is the syntax basically by of sum if basically. Because like we must see with this example, like by this in this section, like is this color printer department quantity, and we want to know how many HP laser printer jet we have. So we must add in this is the by sum if by this syntax in last page we have the syntax basically sum ifs in this range value that meet the criteria, like in this criteria that meet the laser jet printer we have. So only HP laser jet we have conclude. So by this we can calculate the is given questions of answers. So that's must know about the what's the syntax basically they have, because if you know about the syntax, so it's very easy for you to calculate the answer in an easy way. So next function is basically average functions, like what it does, like average, because average is like basically every sum of like median or like average of the group of numbers. So basically it's like, and it's easy syntax basically is equal to average of this number range. Or and average is basically easy to know, like what's the average basically. So round functions is basically like round basically number to the uh, nearest decimal you specify, and it's easy syntax basically. Around basically this number and to his many, like to this many digits after, like if we number go about like 12 to point or 0.41, so it will round the figure by 12. You know, if the figure is maybe 12.81, so it will round the figure to the 13 or maybe. Yeah, so basically it's round a number to the nearest decimal you specify using rounding for budgeting, because Excel uses in the financial department is so huge, because today's world most of the companies still uses the Excel in their as a tool. So Excel importance is huge in the current scenario. So it will be very beneficial for all of the candidate to learn the Excel in a easy way, and to grasp the concept in very general way. Because if you know about the Excel, and then it will be easy for you to learn the like more about SQL language and the Power BI, because see Power BI syntax is also same is like Excel, like index functions, and like Power Query editor is also same in the Power BI or Excel. So basically it's a very advantage to learn Excel in a quite good manner. So I will be request to everyone, please learn the Excel to some extent. Like logical formulas, if you know about programming in logical formulas is also is important topic, and in Excel also logical formulas, basically if, and, or, not, choose, if error, if text, and you check whether conditions are met or not, true or false. It can be used as a functions or similar, but check if any conditions are met. So logical formulas is also one of the most important topic in Excel, because by this syntax you know you like if and or not. So this is a very easy one. So in next way we see that what's the syntax of the if formula basically, and basically it's check the whether condition is met or return one value if true and another if false. So it's a very condition is met, and its syntax is basically if is this is true then do this and this. So because like if 25 lower than 15, this is counted as loser, otherwise they have counted the winner. But in case 25 are bigger than the 15, so in this case the value is basically last one, like winner one. So because second value will be considered, like it's a easy. Other types of syntax basically sum if, condition range, condition sum range. And next types of formula basically if error. Basically next types of formula basically are it if error, like it is an easy way to handle error in formula. And if error return the value you want in case of error with the formula. And it's syntax of basically like syntax if error, formula value to return if there is an error. And example basically if error 1 by 0 can't divide by 0, they have tell the values null value. And if error 0 by 1, so can't be divided by 0, so can't divide by the 0, so it's considering the if error. So in next slide we have talk about text formulas. Like text formula is also quite good in number. Like the text formula basically 4 to 5 most of the famous one, like promer, tim, trim, dollar one basically. For the control referencing or referential, you must know about what's the dollar formula and reproduce and text and type. So first of all we talk about proper formula. Proper formula basically like converts text to the proper state where something is all caps or mix caps and lowercase. In next formula basically trim, they have removed the unnecessary space in the given text. And dollar basically dollar convert a number to a dollar currency format, and they you can use still with the total formula. And repeats basically particular text specific number of times, great for illustrating a graph like number of occurrence graphically with lines basically. And text maybe convert something into the text with a number, date. So you know about what's the text formula basically, like proper, trim, dollar, repeatings, text, and type. So copy a sheet, copy with format. So basically it's also considering quick access toolbar. In first slide we have talked about what's quick access toolbar. You may know about like what's. So in copy a sheet formula basically insert delete format and cell size they have used in this, like in home, in ribbon functions basically. By the right click, on the spreadsheet, you deal with this like functions like cut, copy, paste options, insert, delete, clear content, filter, sort, insert comment, pick from drop down. So it's also is in a right by the right click menu when you have deal with the when you deal with the mouse. In this like alt key to see key type key tips, like alt key. By alt key, so you know about what's the key tips is plays in this manner by pressing alt key. 1 minute. Yeah. So by alt key to see you basically key tips, like what's the key they have, like in like first manner, second, third, fourth, in different manner. So by alt key, you know about key tips they have used. And next types of functions basically use error types. Basically, in error types, basically when you deal with the error, so most of times you deal with this error like basically divide by zero error and by a error name null. So when you deal with the divide by zero error, so you basically divide the number by the zero, so you will get this error. And by a, like when a formula or a functions inside a formula can't find the references data that you have searched, so when you deal with n by a, so that signify that function is can't find what you have given on formula. And third one will be basically name, when the text in the formula is not recognized in the given error types. So that's why this error is come basically by the name of the name. And last error basically is null, when a space y is used instead of comma in the formula and that reference multiple range. A comma is necessary to separate range references basically. So the next error type basically references or value and num. So num type of error basically is a numeric data, when a formula has numeric data. And references basically is like reference error is basically reference when a reference is invalid in the given spreadsheet. And the next types of error is basically value, when the wrong type of operand or functions argument is used. Absolute and relative references. Relative references is absolute cell references contain dollar in the row and the column. So do not change when the copied or the filled. So use when you want to consistently refer to the certain cell. So A1 basically signify the relative. A $1 basically signify the column is relative, but row is constant. By applying dollar sign, you have constant the row value. That means you have don't change the value by the row, but columns values change accordingly. But no, raw values basically constant or basically don't change according to the column value. And this dollar a1 value is basically row is relative and column value is constant. By applying both dollar on a1 and 1, so both are absolute. So basically absolute references is basically cell address that contain a dollar sign, which is contain the dollar sign, so that maybe chances will be high that it will be absolute references. And when you enter the several references in the formula, Excel assume that it is a relative references unless you change it to the absolute references. Absolute and relative references. References type formula. What happens after copying the formula? Relative A1 either both column A and row can change absolute. But dollar a $1 the column A and basically they have don't change according to the relative references. So both are very important, like the absolute and relative references. So I think no question available. So after we study with the absolute and relative references, we deal next types of function is basically order of operations. So order of operation basically tell Excel which operator do calculation first, which apply. And order of operation basically allow to you to solve the problem at the right way. And the order is basically like basically parenthesis, exponent, and multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. And in easy way you have must know about, like you consider this formula as a PEMDAS, PEMDAS करके. And let's perform the operations inside a parenthesis first, then do exponent. So basically its formula is a mathematical expression which operator, like which operator to calculate first and which operation to have, apply on the first. So basically complex formula they have, like one mathematical operation such as basically given value 5 but 5 plus 2 into 8, and when there's a more than one form operation in the formula, the order of operation in the tel cells basically which operator to calculation first. So by like name PAMDAS, you use the order of operations in Excel. Like common formula error. So it's a common types of formula error when you deal with this in Excel spreadsheet. You start with the equal sign. Basically, if you omit the equal sign, Excel think that data is a text. It consider that data will be the text. Like match all open and the closest parentheses. Like this gets more complicated as you add more formulas. If B5 less than 0 and not valid, so it will consider as a open and closing parentheses. Like use a colon to indicate a range, basically sum a1 dot by a5. So not to use as a common formula error. So you must know about like what types of common formula error you face. So next error basically enter all required and correct types of argument, basically can't be combined sum and replace function in same way, in same manner, and enter numbers without formatting. Like if you are applying number without formatting, so it will come with the error. Yeah, and it's known as a common formula error. So basically you must alert with this. Like, and last of the formula error basically cut and copy, cut versus copy, and relative versus absolute, which I have studied in last slide. So formula that omits cell in a group, when Excel think that there is a mistake. So when Excel tells us there is a mistake in this formula, so this will come with this icon, basically this. So return an error message like the inconsistent formula. By this signify they have inconsistent formula and you have some error in this for given formula. So this option such a copy the formula from the lat. So it will help the user to correct their formula or they correct their mistakes in edit in formula bar. So basically this is a great advantage in Excel that they have given the mistake in with prescribed manner. They have error message in this given formula. So by this user can change or edit the formula bar and enter the correct formula in the given prescriptions. So next function is basically find and select. So keyboard like when you find the given text or number on the Excel sheet, so you will by keyboard or by Excel spreadsheet you have deal with this find and select, and control plus H is also one of the short form like shortcut to find and select the function on the home tab. So by this find and select, basically you have find the value, replace the value, go to any specials, formulas, command, conditional formatting. So basically it's all of the given manners like constant data validations. Like trace next thing is we have studies like trace precedent and versus dependents. So basically dependent trace formula to the dependents and like are dependent on the active cells. Basically they have signify that they have depended on the active cell all this given number, and their present trace cells provide data to the formula. And like it's so error that these cells are affected by the value of the currently selected cells. So most of the function more of function like basically name manager, define name like create from selections, basically show formula, error checking, evaluate formulas. And next thing we have study basically evaluate formula, by which manner you have evaluate the formula you have entered in the Excel spreadsheet. So by this function evaluate formula, you have check there where your formula is correct or not. And by this like it show the result of the underlying expression, they click evaluate, and by this you must know about like their result. Like the next thing we have studied like grid line. And what's the grid line basically? Grid line is basically line with which I have shown in the home button on the Excel. So by this, they have more the things like grid line, formula bar, heading. So that, that's basically that's it's a grid line basically. This line, this line, this line. It signifies the grid line which you if you have typed the this grid line, this will be moved. So the grid line will help to the prescribe the data, like visualize the data in good manner. So by this, you know must about like what's a grid line basically. If you have untapped the heading, so heading is missed from the quick access toolbar button which are present in the home button of home of Excel. Like next function we have studied like merge and center. Like when you have want to merge two files in the same like in this manner, you have used the merge and center. They have present in the quick access toolbar or like in ribbon. So by this apply on this merge and center button, you will apply the both different Excel worksheet content in the same manner. Like basically, like both A cell, B cell, C cell, D1 by merge and center. You have typed the text in the given, and by this one cell is covering this Excel home button. And next basically file name and printing. So like file home insert basically we have studied in last slide. What are their quick access toolbar? But in this we have like print the number and file the name. So by this file button you have named their file in the given or your one you to signify. And last is basically like page layout, like a horizontal or vertical or like in this constant mode. But in page setup you have 4 to 5 functions basically: page, margin, header, footer, sheets basically. And it's a more most of the function in the page setup, because page setup by this you have control the header or footer on the given page. Like next function basically page setup we have studied like page setup, margin, header, footer. So basically footer signifies that basically from page setup type of view. And if you have add the data and date value, so what types you have says that. And in footer basically to format text, select the text and then choose the font button. And to insert a paragraph, we would like to insert a page number, date, time, file path, or file name or tab name, position the insert point. So basically they have signify their file name and path. And next is the thing we have studied in this quick Excel toolbar. Basically by this by quick analysis tool which I have available in the like 2016 version or like 2013, you have lots of function is basically some have count, and they have calculated the result set below. And by this you click the quick access toolbar, you have get the full picture about this data, and they have analysis the data in a beautiful manner. Merchant center also have a study last slide. Like so last topic of this PPT is basically Sparkline. And Sparkline is basically tiny chart inside the single worksheet cell that can be used to visualize or represent the data in your data. And Sparkline can draw attention to the important items such as seasonal change or economic cycle and highlight the maximum and the minimum value in different color. So by this you have showing trend in your worksheet data can be used especially when you are saying with the data with the other people. So by Sparkline, you have visualized the data in the economic cycle or the good manner. So and it's very easy to use, and in short way you have visualized the data or set the data in the some 2D manner basically good. And how to select the Sparkline basically, and go to this lines and insert line Sparkline. So you choose the data that you want, data range. You have applied the data range on this. and choose where you want the spark line to be placed. So you have also apply the location range, data range to create the spark line in the Excel to analyze the trends basically, because in data field you have analyzed the trend in good manner. If you have the skills to analyzing trends, so it will very good for you to excel in career in data field. So by this, so if you have any questions, please ask me. Thank you guys for your time. So I will wrap this session. Thank you.